let me tell you something real today. If someone truly wants you, they will never stay silent for long. People don't ignore what they value. They don't forget what matters. And they don't delay what their heart is attached to. If he hasn't been calling or texting, it doesn't always mean he doesn't care. Sometimes it means fear, confusion, pride, or emotional immaturity is holding him back. But once you understand your worth and shift your energy, everything changes. The moment you stop chasing, stop begging, stop overthinking, and start respecting yourself, something powerful happens. Your value rises. Your presence becomes missed. Your absence becomes loud. And that's when he starts to fill the space you left behind. That silence you created becomes uncomfortable for him, and suddenly he remembers your importance. When you focus on yourself, glow up, improve your life, and protect your peace, you send a silent message. I am valuable, and I don't settle for less. This energy triggers curiosity, attraction, and desire. He begins to wonder what changed. He starts missing your voice, your presence, your attention, and that's when the phone lights up with a call or a text. See, confidence is magnetic. Self-respect is irresistible. Independence is powerful. When you become emotionally strong, you stop waiting by the phone, and that shift alone makes him feel the loss. Your absence forces reflection, and reflection leads to realization. If he truly cares, he will reach out, because when a man realizes he might lose someone valuable, instinct takes over. He will find a way to connect. He will send that message. He will make that call, because deep down, he knows what you bring into his life. So stop chasing, start becoming, start rising, and watch how the energy changes. Watch how suddenly he calls and texts you. People don't ignore what they truly value. This single idea explains so much about human behavior, especially in relationships. When something is important to us, it naturally occupies space in our thoughts, our time, and our priorities. We don't have to force ourselves to remember it. It stays present because it matters. Think about the things you deeply care about, your goals, your dreams, your family, or your passions. You don't forget them, you don't ignore them. You make time for them even when life is busy. The same principle applies to emotional connections. When someone truly values you, they don't disappear, stay silent for long, or treat communication as an option. They find ways to stay connected because their heart is invested. Many people struggle with confusion when someone they care about suddenly becomes distant. They start making excuses, blaming themselves, or trying harder to get attention. But the truth is simpler than we want to accept. Attention follows value. If someone sees you as important, they will naturally give you their time, energy, and effort. This doesn't mean they will be perfect or always available, but it does mean they won't consistently ignore you. Even during busy or stressful times, a person who truly values you will still make small efforts to check in, reassure you, and maintain the connection. A simple text, a quick call, or a thoughtful message becomes a priority, not a burden. When someone stops reaching out, it often reveals a shift in how they perceive the relationship. It doesn't always mean they don't care at all, but it can mean that your place in their priorities has changed. This realization can be painful, but it is also empowering. It helps you understand that chasing attention rarely creates genuine desire. You cannot force someone to value you. Value is something that grows from emotional connection, respect, admiration, and mutual understanding. The moment you begin to beg for attention, you unintentionally lower your own worth in your eyes. and sometimes in theirs as well. This is why self-respect is so crucial. When you respect yourself, you set standards for how others treat you. Understanding that people don't ignore what they truly value allows you to shift your focus inward. Instead of obsessing over why someone isn't calling or texting, you begin to invest that energy into yourself. You start improving your life, working on your goals, nurturing your passions, and building your confidence. As you do this, your energy changes. You become more grounded, more attractive, and more emotionally strong. This shift doesn't just affect how others see you, it transforms how you see yourself. You stop waiting for validation and start living with purpose. When your energy changes, people notice. The same person who once stayed silent may suddenly become curious. They begin to feel your absence. They start to miss the attention, warmth, and emotional support you once gave so freely. This is when they often reach out, not because you chased them, but because your absence made them realize your value. Silence can be powerful when it comes from self-respect rather than manipulation. It creates space for reflection, and reflection often leads to realization. In the end, this keynote reminds you of a simple truth. You deserve to be valued, not tolerated. You deserve effort, not excuses. When someone truly values you, their actions will reflect it. They will show up, communicate, and make time, because what matters to the heart never gets ignored. This understanding frees you from chasing people who cannot meet you at your level, and opens the door to relationships built on mutual respect, care, and genuine connection. Your absence creates impact when your presence was meaningful. This idea holds deep emotional truth because it shows how much power you carry when you genuinely matter to someone. When your presence adds peace, happiness, comfort, support, or joy to someone's life, your absence does not go unnoticed. It leaves a gap. It creates silence that feels heavy. It makes the other person aware of what they once had and may have taken for granted. People often do not realize the value of something while it is always available, but the moment it is gone, they begin to feel the difference. When you are always present, always available, always forgiving, and always giving, people can slowly become comfortable and careless, not because they are bad, but because human nature adapts quickly. What becomes routine often loses its emotional weight. Your messages, your calls, your care, and your attention can start to feel normal, expected, and guaranteed. This is why stepping back, when done with dignity and self-respect, can create a powerful shift. It reminds the other person that your presence was not ordinary, it was valuable. Absence works only when your presence was meaningful. If you brought positivity, understanding, emotional safety, and genuine care into someone's life, then your silence will echo loudly. The moments you shared, the emotional support you gave, and the connection you built do not disappear just because you step back. Instead, they become memories that surface when you are no longer there. These memories stir emotions like longing, regret, curiosity, and appreciation. That is when the other person begins to realize what they are missing. This is not about playing games or manipulating emotions. It is about self-worth and emotional balance. When you continuously give without receiving, you drain yourself and weaken your emotional position. By creating space, you protect your energy and allow the other person to feel the natural consequences of your absence. That space becomes a mirror, showing them what life feels like without your presence. And in that reflection, they often see your value more clearly. When you stop reaching out, stop initiating every conversation, and stop being the only one making effort, something interesting happens. The emotional responsibility shifts. The other person now has to decide whether the connection matters enough to them to make the effort. This decision reveals their true feelings. If they reach out, it shows your absence affected them. If they do not, it gives you clarity and freedom to move forward without false hope. Your absence also strengthens you. It gives you time to reconnect with yourself, your goals, and your peace. You stop measuring your worth through someone else's attention. You begin to feel whole on your own. This inner strength changes your energy, and energy is powerful. When you become calm, focused, and emotionally stable, your presence becomes even more attractive. Ironically, stepping back often draws people closer because emotional independence is magnetic. When someone starts to miss you, they reflect on the moments they shared with you. They remember your kindness, your laughter, your understanding, and your support. This reflection creates emotional pull. They begin to wonder how you are doing, what you are thinking, and whether they still matter to you. That curiosity becomes the bridge that reconnects communication. A simple message or call becomes their way of testing the emotional door you once kept open. In the end, this principle teaches you the power of emotional balance. Being present with love, care, and authenticity makes your presence meaningful. And when your presence is meaningful, your absence becomes powerful. It reminds others of your value, protects your self-respect, and allows genuine emotions to rise. True connection is not built through constant availability, but through mutual effort, appreciation, and emotional depth. Self-respect increases attraction instantly. This is one of the most powerful truths in relationships and human interactions. When you respect yourself, you send a clear message to everyone around you. I know my worth, and I won't settle for less than I deserve. Self-respect is not about arrogance or being unkind. It's about valuing your emotions, your time, your boundaries, and your life. When a person sees that you honor yourself, they are naturally drawn to you because humans are instinctively attracted to confidence, strength, and dignity. It's magnetic in a way that no charm, flattery, or pursuit can replicate. Think about it. When someone constantly compromises their own needs to please others, they may seem eager, desperate, or easily available. That energy, even if unintentional, can reduce their perceived value. On the other hand, when you set boundaries, take care of yourself, and prioritize your own happiness, you create an aura of self-worth that people cannot ignore. They notice that you are someone who won't tolerate disrespect, someone who understands that love and attention must be mutual. That realization makes them respect you, and respect often transforms into attraction. Self-respect also affects how you behave in relationships. It prevents you from chasing someone who is not reciprocating your efforts. It helps you recognize when your emotional energy is being wasted and encourages you to step back when necessary. By holding yourself to high standards, you automatically filter out people who are not ready or willing to meet those standards. This filtering process protects your emotional well-being while simultaneously making you more desirable to those who are capable of genuine commitment. Attraction is deeply psychological. People are drawn to what they cannot control or manipulate, to what holds its own power and independence. Self-respect creates this dynamic naturally. When you don't beg for attention, when you don't over-explain your feelings, and when you maintain your dignity, even in moments of frustration, you exude strength. That strength is attractive. It makes the other person pause and reconsider their own actions because they realize you are not someone they can take for granted. Your self-respect becomes a mirror reflecting their behavior back to them, making them more conscious of how they treat you. Furthermore, self-respect builds internal confidence. When you respect yourself, you feel secure and complete without needing constant validation from others. That inner security shows in your body language, tone, and choices. You don't overthink every interaction, obsess over replies, or allow uncertainty to dominate your emotions. This confidence, in turn, makes others feel safe, admired, and intrigued by your presence. It's a subtle but powerful form of influence that encourages someone to step up rather than pull away. Importantly, self-respect is not about waiting passively for others to recognize your value. It's about living your life in a way that naturally demonstrates it. Pursue your goals, maintain your passions, nurture your mind and body, and protect your peace. When you do this, you create an energy that is irresistible. People are drawn to those who are emotionally strong and self-sufficient because it inspires them and challenges them to rise to the occasion. Your worth becomes evident in your actions, decisions, and the standards you set for yourself. Ultimately, self-R. Aspect is the cornerstone of attraction because it signals that you are a person of integrity, strength, and emotional maturity. It ensures that your relationships are built on mutual respect rather than dependence or desperation. When you respect yourself, others are naturally inclined to respect you, appreciate you, and desire you, creating deeper, more meaningful connections that are balanced and fulfilling. It's a magnetic quality that cannot be faked. It must come from genuine self-awareness and honor. Stop chasing, start focusing on yourself. This principle is one of the most transformative keys in relationships and personal growth. When you chase someone, constantly calling, texting, or seeking their attention, you place your emotional power in their hands. You allow their actions, moods, and decisions to dictate how you feel. Chasing creates imbalance because it signals neediness and dependency, even if unintentional. People are naturally less attracted to desperation because it reduces the sense of challenge and value. In contrast, when you stop chasing and redirect that energy toward yourself, something remarkable happens. Your life becomes fuller, your confidence grows, and your presence becomes magnetic. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean ignoring someone you care about. It means prioritizing your well-being, goals, and happiness first. It means investing in your personal growth, health, career, hobbies, and relationships that truly matter. When you focus on yourself, you create a life that feels fulfilling without needing constant validation from someone else. This shift changes your energy completely. Instead of being anxious, waiting for a call or reply, or overanalyzing their behavior, you channel your energy into becoming the best version of yourself. That energy is contagious. People notice it, even subconsciously, and it naturally draws them toward you. Chasing can often create resentment in both parties. You may feel frustrated and undervalued, while the other person may feel pressured or smothered. By stepping back and focusing on yourself, you eliminate these negative dynamics. You stop trying to control outcomes and allow events to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean you give up on a person. It means you stop compromising your self-respect to gain attention or affection. The more you respect your own boundaries and invest in yourself, the more others are compelled to recognize your value. Self-focus also helps you gain clarity. When you are not consumed by chasing, you can see the situation objectively. You can evaluate whether this person truly deserves your time, energy, and love. You become aware of patterns, signs, and behaviors that might have been invisible while you were emotionally invested in the chase. This clarity allows you to make better decisions about relationships, avoiding toxic dynamics or people who take advantage of your efforts. Moreover, focusing on yourself strengthens your emotional independence. When you are complete in yourself, you stop relying on someone else to fill voids or validate your worth. That independence is incredibly attractive because it communicates that you are whole and capable, not needy or dependent. A person who notices this shift begins to value your presence more because they recognize that your attention is not given lightly. It's earned through respect and authenticity. Lastly, redirecting your energy toward yourself encourages growth that benefits all areas of life. You improve mentally, emotionally, physically, and socially. Your confidence grows, your self-awareness deepens, and your goals become clearer. As a result, even if the person you once chased doesn't return, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. And often, when you genuinely live your best life, people, including the one you stopped chasing, start to notice and gravitate toward your energy naturally. In short, stopping the chase and focusing on yourself is not just a strategy for relationships. It's a principle for life. It restores balance, builds self-worth, increases attraction, and allows genuine connections to form. By prioritizing yourself, you no longer wait for someone to validate your value. You create a life so vibrant and magnetic that the right people are naturally drawn to it. Confidence and independence trigger desire. This principle is one of the most powerful truths in relationships, and it is central to why people are drawn to certain individuals. Confidence is not about being loud, arrogant, or dominating. It's about believing in your own worth and being comfortable in your own skin. Independence is about being emotionally, mentally, and sometimes financially self-sufficient, so your happiness doesn't rely on anyone else. When you combine these qualities, you create an energy that is magnetic, irresistible, and highly attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who are self-assured and who live life on their own terms because it signals strength, maturity, and value. Confidence begins with self-awareness. When you understand who you are, what you stand for, and what you want in life, it shows in your actions, speech, and presence. You no longer overanalyze every interaction, seek validation from others, or compromise your boundaries just to please someone. This type of confidence is powerful because it is rooted in authenticity. When someone experiences this energy, they feel the difference immediately. They sense that you are not easily swayed, not easily available, and that your time and attention are precious. This naturally triggers desire because human psychology often values what seems rare, strong, and independent. Independence amplifies this attraction. When you have your own life, your own goals, routines, passions, and social circles, you demonstrate that your world doesn't revolve around anyone else. You are emotionally self-reliant, and you don't need constant reassurance or attention. This independence signals that you are complete in yourself. A person who truly cares must meet you on equal footing, which often triggers respect and admiration. They recognize that if they want to be a part of your life, they need to contribute positively rather than take for granted your presence. Independence also protects your peace because you are not dependent on someone else's behavior to feel happy or secure. This stability is attractive because it reflects emotional maturity. Confidence and independence together create a natural dynamic of pursuit. People are drawn to what they cannot control. If someone senses that your attention is not guaranteed and that your life is full and fulfilling on its own, they feel compelled to step up. They want to earn your attention, affection, and respect. This is why men often respond strongly to women who are confident and independent. The energy shifts from neediness to challenge, from expectation to curiosity. The pursuit becomes mutual rather than one-sided. Another key aspect is the emotional impact of your energy. When you are confident and independent, you emit a calm yet powerful aura. You don't overreact to silence or mixed signals. You handle your life with grace, focus, and self-respect. That energy makes people wonder about you, notice you more, and seek to connect on a deeper level. It triggers desire because it stimulates both emotional curiosity and admiration. The other person feels drawn to your strength, intrigued by your self-assuredness, and motivated to engage with you meaningfully. Ultimately, confidence and independence are not about manipulating someone to care about you. They are about being fully yourself and creating a life that is magnetic by its own merit. When you combine self-respect, emotional strength, and independence, you naturally draw people who are capable of appreciating your value. Desire emerges not from pressure or pleading, but from authentic admiration and recognition of your worth. By mastering these qualities, you position yourself to attract meaningful, respectful, and fulfilling connections where both parties are equally invested.